Alright, I'm back. It's Justin once again, and this is another guitar lesson from GuitarMadeEZ.com. Today I'm going to talk about buying an acoustic guitar from a guitar shop. I had a previous lesson that I actually just recorded, and it's on buying your first guitar. This one's going to be a little bit similar, but I'm going to go in a little bit more depth with name brands and some stuff like that. So, anyways, when we talk about acoustic guitars, the biggest thing to remember that these things are really picky, okay? They can go out of whack really easy. It's all about handling these things with care, okay? So if you go to a guitar shop and you come across, a guitar shop that keeps their acoustic guitars out of a room with a humidifier, they keep them in a hot environment or a super cold environment, you don't want anything to basically be too extreme when it comes to an acoustic guitar. These things are made out of wood, which causes the wood to warp, expand and contract with heat and cold. These things are super picky, so keep them always in a constant environment. 75 degrees, medium humidity. It's even good to have, I'd say, like a temperature scale in the room where you keep your guitars. I keep mine in my basement. A temperature scale with a humidity scale on it also. It's always a good thing to think about or a good thing to have. So make sure you do that. Also, I'll kind of summarize my last lesson too. When buying an acoustic guitar, what you want to look for first, the most important thing is you want to fall in love with that acoustic guitar. You want to, out of all the guitars in the guitar shop, you want to look around and say, wow, this guitar is me. You really want to have that bond with the guitar. If you buy one and just buy one out of impulse, oh, I need to get a guitar, I want to start playing, it's not going to happen. You're not going to have as good of an experience as you would as if you fall in love with your guitar. Just give it some time. Say, okay, over the next month, I've got $300 saved. Over the next month, I'm going to find a guitar for $300. Okay? You can even go online, look on Craigslist, look on all those used websites too. Just be extra careful if you buy one used. Make sure that you go through everything and make sure there's no physical damage on it. It's got low action. Look at the environment that the guitar has been kept in. If it's a dirty environment, I'd kind of stay away from it. A lot of times, if it's a smoker's environment, this doesn't necessarily happen with a whole lot of acoustic guitars, but with electric guitars, it can actually change the color of the guitar. Check your tuning pegs, make sure the guitar stays in tune. Also, sometimes you'll have this is actually on acoustic guitars, the truss rod right there, there's an actual nut inside the truss rod. If that nut's warped, if there's any cracks around that nut, it's going to make it harder to fix if it ever does get warped. That's how they fix warping at the guitars. They tighten or loosen the nut, which causes tension on the fretboard. So aside from all that stuff, just make sure that you keep your guitar in a constant environment. You fall in love with your guitar. On top of that, I want to talk, the focus of this lesson is actually talking about name brands and what guitars to go for. If you're a beginner, you want to start off an acoustic guitar, like I said in my last lesson. Also, think about a classical guitar too. I actually started off on a classical guitar. It's hard to find a really good classical guitar without actually going to Mexico or finding an independent classical dealer. A lot of times they're just made very poorly. What happens is the classical guitar, it uses nylon strings, and it's a whole nother animal. When it comes to breaking a string, I think it's a little bit harder to, me personally, I think it's a little bit harder to change the strings. But at the same time, the strings are a lot thicker, the fretboard's a lot wider, it's a much better base to start playing guitar from. So think about, maybe before trying an acoustic, maybe go with a classical, but you don't necessarily have to. So, and if you don't know already, classical guitars are the ones that have that Mexican type, Spanish type sounding feel. So anyways, with the classical guitars, let's say you don't want to go with a classical, go with an acoustic. The biggest acoustic guitars, and I've actually owned every type of acoustic guitar you can think of. I've bought and sold them. I have a Martin, which I don't know if I have in any of my lessons. I think maybe my Dust in the Wind lesson, or my Dust in the Wind cover, or one of my Oasis covers. I think I have my Martin in there. My Martin has a pickup in the guitar, so I can plug it into an amp, so it sounds louder. It's amplified. It'll play through an amp. Martins are kind of like the BMWs or I don't know, Mercedes of guitars when it comes to acoustic guitars. All the greats played with them. It's like the #1 name brand for guitars. I gotta tell you, this ALVAREZ right here was the best thing I ever bought when it came in terms of a acoustic guitar. I had Fenders in the past. Fenders are crap. They have really big bodies, and they just don't sound very good. The sound coming out of them doesn't sound very good. I played a couple Yamahas that were low end that actually sounded okay, but nothing compares to this ALVAREZ. My $800, $900 Martin that I bought a couple years ago does not even compare. It sounds a little bit brighter, and the wood on it looks very pretty. But at the same time, this ALVAREZ, which I think I bought for 150 or 200 bucks, plays better than any of my acoustic guitars. Okay, so the reason why I say that, it's got very low action. If you play one, you'll just feel it. I can't really describe it, but with every ALVAREZ guitar I've ever played, I just have a connection with. And this goes for a ton of people. I've recommended ALVAREZ a ton of times. Everyone that comes back to me is like, thanks, Justin. This is a great guitar. I love it. It's super cheap, which is great for me. So if you're talking about best for your buck, I would definitely recommend ALVAREZ guitars. I actually have links on my website. If you click under discount gear, go to GuitarMadeEZ.com. I have discount guitar gear. There's the ALVAREZ guitars that I recommend, and I think it's the best price that you can find online for those guitars. So anyways, definitely check them out. That's the cymbal right there. So I don't know if you guys have seen the ALVAREZ cymbal before, but these things play amazing. I can't emphasize that enough. On top of that, see if you're buying a acoustic guitar, you're probably going to want to change the strings out. The strings that come on, right off the bat, or if it's a used guitar, they've been on there for a while, go with elixirs. Elixirs are great guitar strings. They sound super bright. They can almost make any guitar sound good. So that's basically key when it comes to buying an acoustic guitar. Also, see if they'll throw in a case. That's what I always do. I try to, you got to use your bargaining skills a little bit. If you go inside a guitar shop, you say, okay, I'm ready to buy, only if you throw in a case. Give me a hard case. Don't get a soft case, get a hard case. That's extremely important. You want to keep your guitar in the best condition possible in a constant environment. A hard case will do that, a soft case won't. So also a hard case will hold in the humidity, soft cases won't. So if you guys have any other questions, I hope I answered everybody's question. I just want to be really open, and I know it's really intimidating going out there to buy a guitar. But just let me know. Leave a comment or let me know. Send me an email, webmaster@GuitarMadeEZ.com. Definitely check out my site. There's a ton of new guitar lessons on there. I totally revamped and changed my site. I hope you like it. And I will see you guys on the next lesson where I teach you how to and what to look for when buying a electric guitar. Had to think about that for a second. So, okay, see you in the next lesson. Later.